Hello, I'm back. I'm just going to make sure that I'm on my computer and that I can see what you can see. Let's have a look-see. Yeah, all good. Okie doke. Right, so I found the other card that I wanted to share with you. So I'm going to make one similar to this, hence why the crumb cake was in. And I've used the Misty Moonlight. You will have card left over in this pack and you will have a lot of papers left over. So I'm going to do, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to use Versamark, which is a really handy ink pad to have. And I'm going to take this image from the flowers and I'm going to actually use it as a background. So I'm going to stamp like that as a little background. Most of my ladies have a Versamark. It's one of the early purchases I sort of advise people to have. Is anyone back on? Oh, I've got two of you on. So yeah, I do love a Versamark because you get this lovely water mark effect like that. Okay, so again, just showing you how you can use these images, not just for the jars, but also for backgrounds. Hi Maria and hi Kay. Okay, so I've now got, can you see that that's like a tone-on-tone watermark effect? Okay, now that is ultimately, I'm going to stick on there. However, I'm not going to do that yet because we're going to do our jar. Now I need my jar punch. Now, thing with a punch is it can only go in so far into the project. So I'm going to get that in the middle and I'm going to punch. Actually, look at that. That looks a bit like a designer vase now, like a designer jar. We could use that on something. Let's keep that to one side. So now this is quite tricky. We are now have a jar shaped hole in our project, like so. And do you remember I coloured these in from earlier? Yep. And I want to pop that there. Now, there is probably an easier way of doing this. And I always find, I always manage to find like the hardest way of doing things. But I've only used two of these shakers because they were on back order, the shaker dome things. And I can't even find now where I've put them. Ah, they're here. So, these are currently on back order. So I want to show you how we use those. I'm just going to find the one that's most central. I think that one is. Okay, I'm going to use this as a guide. I'm going to get my, hi Vanessa. Oh, I thought this is part 2, love, so I've done some cards on the other part 1, which I will send you the link to. It won't have uploaded yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this in place, but I'm not going to stick it down. But I am going to put a little bit of glue on the jar. This is my favourite glue. Oh man, I think it's a bit, I'm going to have to let go and move that. Right, there we go, I've got a bit of glue on it now. Okay, let's move it back into position. So I've got it equal, I'm happy with that. And then I'm going to take my jar and I'm going to pop it in the hole there. And then I'm going to remove this out of the way and hold that down. So I know that's exactly where I want it. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Oh, you managed to watch? Oh, brilliant. Well, I hope you can do your projects on Monday. Have some you time on Monday. So the jar is where we need it to be, okay? And so what I'm going to do now, a lot of people don't realise this, but these jars have got adhesive on this side under that white strip and adhesive on this side on the back underneath that white strip. It's got double adhesive. So I am going to peel off the top layer. It's really sticky, this, okay? And I'm going to pop it through here, through the hole, and get it lined up. Hopefully I've got that straight. And now it's stuck onto there. Yeah? Does that make sense? It's stuck. Yeah? Okay. It's probably better to open up your project. Now I've got a bit of a blob there, but that doesn't matter because that's going to cover it up like that. All right? So now what I'm going to do, before I peel that backing off, is I'm going to take some of those. Remember, I'd already coloured this from in the other video that I showed you earlier. I'm going to take some of those little things that I now can't find. Right, they're hiding under a reel of ribbon. So what I'm going to do, you can't put them in there and then tip that over. So what you do is you just take a few sprinklings and you actually place them there on the jar, or in the jar, yeah? Okie dokes, like that, yep. Does that make sense? I say that a lot, does that make sense? Hi Mandy. Give me a thumbs up if it's all making sense. And then what I'm going to do is I want to stick this on here, but I need to obviously peel this off, but I also want glue. It would make a great gift packet for giving seeds in. I want to put glue around there too. So I'm going to pop my glue around here like I normally would. Yep, I'm going to do a squiggle there and a squiggle down there, and then I'm going to peel this off. Oh man, she says. There we go. Boom. And then, hi Marlene, welcome back. I'm going to pop that over there, like that. And I've got my little gems in place. And because I've got Tombow, it gives me a little bit of wiggle room to move it. Yep. And now those are trapped in there. So, hope that makes sense. Thanks for the thumbs ups on here. If you want to give me another one on the page, that bit of amazeballs. So yeah, does that make sense how you get that in there? I hope it does. I hope that's an easy way to do it. Now what I am going to do is, what I would do now is cut some flowers out for that. So I would use sunflowers for this one, and it's the green paper. It's gone really warm here, really close. Now, I could use these smaller ones. I could use those daisies. What do we think about the daisies? There's a change. Yeah, do you know what? I'm going to use this because I've not got one with these papers. It's that on the back. I'm going to use those two. I know it's right in the middle, but never mind. I'm going to use these two daisies. Oh, then, yeah, they are daisies, aren't they? There, I'm going to cut them out. Even though I've stamped some flowers on the background, but you can do sunflowers. I've already got a sunflower one, so I'll do a different one. Oh, I've given myself a task here with those leaves. You love the daisies, so what I'm thinking is that that could look quite cute in the jar, yeah. So I am going to cut around these. This is where I could do with a speed up feature. Cutting around these ferns is a little bit. Anyway, everybody managed to get the kits for today, which was amazing, seeing as they arrived on Thursday a little bit late. I was a little bit stressed with that last week. I hope the volume's a bit better, Deanne. I am actually talking quite quietly again, but I've taken, Craig suggested taking the case off my phone, you know, like the protective case, so I have done that. Don't know if that makes a difference. So we haven't really done much stamping. We've stamped the backgrounds, we've stamped the jars, and we've stamped the water in the jars. Showed you how to use the reversible stamp. If anyone wants to order this class kit and then refer back to these videos afterwards, and just let me know. It's not a problem. I will put the links in to the products as well after the video's uploaded. Usually doesn't upload properly until the next day, but I think I can add them. I think I've ended up cutting some of these ferns off a little bit, but never mind. It's handmade. Ooh. Okay, so I want that to stick up there a bit. Now, the jars are a little bit higher, so I might do a double foam pad on that one. So what I mean by a double foam pad is layer it up twice. So take the backing off and then pop another one on. Doesn't matter if you don't get it spot on. Oh, 9 of you watching now, thank you. And there we go, and then that can sort of sit there in the jar, so it does look a bit better for being a little bit higher up. And then what I want to do is sort of cover the join up with some ribbon. Now, we could use that one, or we could use, let's try this bumblebee one, because it is my fave. So I'm going to tie a bow while it's on the reel. And I'm just going to cut that off. Where's my ribbon scissors? And you would need something like a glue dot for this, to stick it to the that. So let me just find one in here. I'm just rifling. Right, I can't find one, so what I'll do is I'll use a little bit of tape. Let's see if this works. Use what we have. There we go. Oh, that's going to work okay, I think. There. So that's a little jar of daisies, and then you can use one of the punch outs, or you can use something you've got at home, a punch. I could use that again, which is coming in handy. So what I think I might do is cut that down, cut that off there. And I think I'm going to do this again because it's a bit too long. I'm going to pop it in that one. Ta-da. Adorable card. Oh, thank you. Is your garden all in bloom? Oh, I'm just learning to be a gardener. My mum keeps sending me things to plant in the garden. But I'm good with the petunia. Petunias are my best ones at the minute. So that's that card, and hopefully it makes sense how to use these jars. And you've got 2 of those in your kit. So That's sort of, you could use the wood background, and you could colour the stamps in. So that's another one for you. And this is just 10 by 14.3, the background. So that is that, and then I'm going to move on to my last card. But this is a little bit longer, but I have got some of the stuff already done. So you need your piece of bumblebee card. So you had a piece of Just Jade, Magenta Madness, Bumblebee, Misty Moonlight. You're going to cut this at 10.5 and then the full length of the A4. Okay, and you're going to score it. I can send people the link for this because it's on one of my team members' blogs. Now, it does work on this new trimmer, but there's some tips if you've got the old style trimmer on the blog, and please ask me and I'll send you a link because you can't see one of the measurements. So you need to score at 14 centimetres, 17. I do think there are imperial measurements on Amanda's blog, 22 and 25. So I'm just going to write that down on the notes for you. 10.5 by 29.7 centimetres, score at 14, 17, 22 and 25. Okay. So that's that done. Oh, I forgot to say this is the card. I did show at the end of the other video, but that's the card that we're doing. Okay, which is my favourite one. Alright, and then you need a piece of Just Jade, so you should have some left over. And this is going to be 6.5 by 14. That's 14 by 6.5. And you are going to score this at 1 and 4 centimetres. So I'm going to do 1 at this side because it's easier. And then flip that round and do it there. Okay, so that's that done. The rest of it is paper. So you need to choose a paper for the background. I've chosen this yellow one. Let me find, could use that one, that would work well. But I use the one with the like roses on. Just trying to see if I've got any left. I'm trying to find it for you. I do want that one. I need that one. Actually. Right, we need that one. Well, I have found it. Oh, it's got that on the back. But I don't think I've got enough left. So let's see if I've got another sheet. If not, we'll use something else. Right, I haven't, so I'm actually going to use this one because it's nice to be a yellow bumblebee background. So this background DSP needs to be 10 wide, 10 centimetres wide, and 8.5. Oh, I didn't put those other measurements in, hang on. Let me write those in. By 8.5. Okay, so that's for the back. Then we need some paper for this bit, but it's also on there. So what we do, we cut a piece that's 10 by 7. So this is already the right width because it's left over from last time's. And then we cut that, but then we cut it down to 2.5 by 4.5. So we're cutting a little bit off so we can do the step. Okay, so DSP 10 by 7, then cut at 2.5. Okay, and finally, we need some for this bit, and this bit is 6 by 12. And you need to cut it down again at 2.5. In fact, I'm going to cut it that way because that's going to be on the top. Okay. Right, and I'm going to show you how to put it together. So that's all our cutting done. Let me just write that. DSP 6 by 12. Okay. Right, there's a lot of instructions there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put this together, and there's a trick, because I don't know if you can see, in order to get it to fold flat and go in an envelope, these all need to be right angles. And if you can see, let me see if I can show on the screen, hang on. I don't know if you'll see, this piece at the back doesn't quite go down to the join there. So I'm going to show you a trick. So we've got our valleys, so that's where it's scored in there. We're going to turn it over and we're going to fold all these up. Yep, we need our glue. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold the bottom 2 sections up flat like that. And if you can see there, there's a little gap. It's about 2 millimeters. We're only going to put glue on this bottom piece like that, and then we close that and rub. Okay, and then we should have this. And by doing it that way, you've not pushed that bit down to the bottom, and it does go completely flat. You've got all your right angles. Yep, so that's a little trick for you. What we're going to do now, we're going to take our background piece that should fit in there, like so. Okay. Like that. And then I'm going to glue the stripe. Is everybody all right with that? Any comments? No? I've still got 9 of you watching, so I've not lost you yet. Obviously, I'm going really fast, and you can do this in your own pace afterwards. At your own pace. In your own time, I meant to say. So you can glue that down. And then that one glues on there like that. Okay, now the next bit is the trickiest bit. Alright. You can actually do this like this, flatten it down so it's easier to glue like so. Alright. So what we are going to do is I'm going to actually glue that on there now. Moved, yep, it did. And then I'm going to glue this on there, and you're left with a tab at the top, a 1 centimetre tab, and that is all good. That's fine. We need that. Okay, boom, done. Right, let's see if everybody's following this. Oh, no comments. You must be busy. Right. We now want to score, well, fold those scores, and there is a trick. What I want you to do is fold the 1 centimetre and the other piece back, so you've got that folded back, okay? But only put glue on this bit, all right, and there. And then pushing that up, what you're going to do is you're going to line this top in the middle up with the top of the card like that. But the glue is actually further down here, so don't be pressing at the top because the glue is further down. So you line it up and it's stuck down. Can you see? It's this bit that's sticking down here. This is actually not stuck down. Hope that makes sense. You don't want to put glue on that bit. Okay, and then what's going to happen is putting it back up to the top like that, you fold it flat, and then you want to put glue just on the bottom inch, say, of this bit, like this. And then literally all you do is with this folded up, you just shut that like that. Press it down. And you have your card. And it all folds and stands up like that. And it goes in an envelope. Yeah? So, what DSP? Marlene, it's the Flowers for Every Season. It's on page, it's right near the front of the catalogue. Maybe page 9, something like that. 9 and 10. It's a 6x6. It's got all the new in colours in it. Okay, so what I'm not going to do now is I'm not going to go through everything and watch you sit and watch you cut things out, but I'm just going to talk you through what I've done to finish the card, because then my half an hour is up. So I've then prepared a jar, which I showed you earlier, and I've layered that up with foam pads. Okay, I've taken a stitched circle. You've just got these, Maria, on Friday, and I've used the Hello from the Forever Fern stamp set, which I know some of you have who were doing my coffee and card, and I've stamped that in Magenta Madness, and I've popped a little bit of the gingham ribbon behind it, and then I've simply cut these flowers out again, and I've made a really big sort of bunch of those ones, and then I thought it was a little bit plain here, so I cut some extra ones out and added those there. Hope that makes sense. There's quite a lot of layering on there. The jar's layered up, and then the stitched circles layered up, and the flowers are layered up on here, but it does go flat. It will have to go as extra postage, but yes, that is the last card. So I've shown you in this section a card with the jar and a fancy fold, and you should still have some of your kit left over. All the cards that I've made today go in standard envelopes, and let's go through what I've shown you today. So there's 2 there, then we've done this one, and this one. We've not done them all today, but I've shown you those, yeah. And then we did this one as well, using the stamps. And then we did these 2, easy peasies, just using the papers and the punched out shapes that I sent you. So I need to have, thank you, Kate, the biggest, you love this style of card. Oh, this shape is brilliant. It's great for all sorts of occasions. I need to have the biggest tidy up ever. And I'm going to say thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for purchasing the kit. And of course, if you've got any questions, I appreciate I've rattled through this in 2 half-hour sessions. But you've got all the info and the measurements. And if anyone needs to go through anything, just drop me a message. And I'm going to find a use for that. That's going to be my next little project. So watch this space. I'll find a use for that. So, thank you for tuning in. Thanks, Mandy. I hope that's... Oh, hi, Sandra. Hope you like... Hi, Deanne. I hope you like this set and it's giving you ideas for the papers that you got. I know that I've whittled through that, Deanne, but your measurements are there. And if you've got any questions, then just fire a message through to me. All right, have a lovely Saturday evening. Thank you, and I will see you soon. Thanks.